So today I'll be teaching you how to draft a under bust corset like the picture displayed on your screen. Kindly stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe. So we are going to mark the neck, the width of the neck. So I'll be using a normal basic width, that's 3.5. Then I'll go down by 3 inch and just connect. I'm not really using this neck, but this is for a guide. So I'll just mark it, then I'll connect with my curve ruler. Then after connecting it, I'll divide my shoulder by 2. I divided the shoulder by 2, I got 7.5. So I'm going to mark 7.5 at the edge. So after marking 7.5, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. This is for the shoulder slope. So I'm going to mark 1 inch, then I slant it. You know our shoulder is not straight, that's why I'm doing this. So after marking it, my armhole, I'll be using 8. Then I'll mark 8, that's where my armhole will stop. So I'll measure what I have at the shoulder, then I'll measure it down. This is to give it balancing. Whatever you have at the shoulder, that's what you measure at the armhole side. So I'll just connect. After connecting, I'll draw a straight line by the side. So after drawing a straight line, I'll divide my armhole by 2. I'll calculate what I have. I have 8 inches. So I'm going to divide my bust by 4. So I'll mark what I have there. So after marking it, I'll go back to my armhole and divide it by 2. After dividing by 2, I got 4 inch. So I'm going to mark the 4 inch. Then I'll come out by ½ inch and connect it. You know, the front armhole is not really straight, so you need to come out a little bit for your armhole to be balanced. So I'll just connect it. So after covering it, I'll go ahead and mark my under bust length, my waist length, my half length. So just watch what I'm doing. So my under bust for this my client, I'm using 14 inch. So I'm just going to mark 14 inch across. So I'll just mark it across. I'll mark my 14 inches. So after marking my 14 inch, I'll go ahead and mark my bust points. I'll mark my bust points. The bust point I'm using for her is 11 inch. So I'm going to mark 11 inch. So after marking the under bust and bust points, I'll go ahead and mark my waistline. Her normal waistline is 17, but I'm not going to be using 17 for her. I'll be using 19 inches. It's always good to use extra 2 inches. You will not use your normal half length when making a corset or under bust, anything that need boning. Just add extra 2 inch so it will stop directly at the waist, not above the waist. It will give it more balancing. This is the method I use and it has been working for me. So I'll just mark 19 and I would draw my straight line across. So I'm just marking my 19 inches. After marking it, I'll just draw across. So I'll just roll it across. I went ahead to mark my full length for this half length. I'll be using 25 inches because of the bust. So I added extra 5 inches. So I'm just going to label my waistline, bust line, my under bust and bust point. So after labeling it, I'll go ahead and mark my nipple to nipple measurement, which I'll be using 4 inch. So I'll start from the under bust. I'll mark 4 inch straight down to the bust line. So I'm going to mark 4 inch. After marking 4 inch straight down, then I'll connect it like a straight line. So I'll just mark 4 inch down, then I'll connect it with my ruler. So after connecting it straight, my nipple to nipple, I'll go ahead from my underbelt. I'll mark 1 inch towards the armpit side and 1 inch towards the center front of our dress, the half length. So I'll mark 1 inch. I'll mark the same 1 inch at the waistline, then at the bust line. That's my half length, where my half length is stopping. So I'm just going to mark it straight, and I'll mark the other side too. So this is how it looks like after marking it. So the next part is to create our cup, the yoke up. That's our under bust corset now. So after getting our input nipple and our dart, so the next thing to do is to go up by 2 inch. So I'm not going to go up by 2 inches since I've already draw my line. That 2 inch will serve as your chest line. Depending on where you want it to stop, you can go lower, so you can even stop at your under bust. So I just went up by 2 inch, then I came in by half inch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect from my shoulder to that half inch. That's to that half inch at my chest line. So I'm just going to do a free hand curve. So not really a curve, a straight line. So I'm just going to connect it to my shoulder. That's how it looks like. So the next part is to just make a curve at your center front to meet the under bust. So I'm just going to curve it. You can do whatever you want here, just make sure it land at the under bust. So I'm just going to construct my very well. It has to be at the under bust. So I'm just going to curve it straight to the under bust. Make sure it's at the under bust. So that's where it will stop. I'll just connect it. So after connecting it, I'll just stop there. So the next part is to take my normal body measurement. So I'll divide my bust by 4. My bust by 4. I will input what I have there. So this is what I have. I will input the measurement. I will do the same thing at the under bust. I'll divide it by 4 and mark what I have. Then I'll do the same thing at the waistline. I'll divide my waist by 4 and mark the measurement I got. So I'll do the same thing as my bust line. My bust line, I'll be using my hip measurement. I'll divide by 4. So after marking the measurement divided by 4, I'll just connect a straight line. I'll just connect it. So you just connect the lines. So after connecting the lines, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put my dart allowance. This dart I'm taking out, I'm going to put it at the under bust. I'm going to put that 2 inch. I'm going to replace the dart we are taking out. So I'll just mark it from the under bust straight to the hip line. Then I'll just connect it to the bust line. So this is what it looks like. So I'll just connect it. That's the 2 inch that we are taking out from this nipple to nipple. So after doing that, I'll just connect from my under bust to where my measurement stop. So I'll just make a free hand curve. This is what it looks like. So I'll just connect it there. So this is how the cup will be like. Our under bust corset is almost ready. You know, we have different type of under bust corset, but this is the method in the picture that I'm showing you. So this is how it looks like. So the next part, I'm just inputting my allowance. So I'll just put my allowance at the side. I'll just mark whatever allowance you want to use for your dress. You just mark it, then you connect it where. So this is how it looks like. I'll just connect the armhole where. So after connecting the armhole, the next thing is to mark out, connect our bust line to do that bust effect. So from that waistline, I'm just going to connect it to the bust line. my back is not going to be that painful, just like a curve. After connecting it straight, I will just curve it a little. I don't want it to be that painful, so I'll just try to curve it at that down part. I'll just curve it. So the next part is to just circle the parts I don't want to use, then I'll cut out. Watch closely so you can know how to cut it out. So I'm just cutting out the excess. Look at it, look how I'm cutting it. Watch how I'm cutting it. I'm just cutting out the excess. So this is how it looks like. I'm cutting out that side I cancelled, so I'm cutting it out. You can see. So I'm just going to cut there. We don't need a yoke for this dress. This is how it's going to look like, the upper part. So I'm just going to cut out the excess. So I'll just cut out the excess, and this is what it looks like. Our front part is ready. The next part is to cut the back. So for the back, I went ahead to put my normal basic measurement. So what I did, I just marked my half length, which is 19 inch. You know it's 17, but I used 19. So the 19 is for the waistline. Then I put in my under bust measurement. So when my armhole stop will serve as my chest line. So I'll just connect it. Then I'll put in my armhole for the back. The back armhole is not curvy. We are not going to come in by half inch, so I'll just mark my measurement and just curve it. So this is how the back armhole is going to look like. So for the back, I'm not going to put zip, so there's no zipper allowance. I'm going to put loop at the back. So I'm just going to mark my basic measurements, my normal basic body measurement. So I'm just going to mark it, then I'll connect, then I'll put in my allowance, the allowance for the dress too. I'll put in the allowance. You can use any allowance you want, but your allowance, normal basic allowance, should not be more than 3 inches. It should be in between 1.5, 2 inch, 3 inch. So I'll just connect. This is what it looks like. So after connecting my allowance, I'll go ahead and I'll minus my back. I'm going to remove like 2 inches away from my back. So watch how I'm going to do so for the back, I'm going to come in by sorry at the yoke side. You can do any yoke you want. Like you can make it round, any kind of yoke you want at the upper part. But I want mine to just be straight, so to just come from the neck, where my neck stop, my neck weight, it to just come from there. Then I'll go in by 2 inches, then I'll just connect it there. So at the chest line, I came in by 2 inch. Then at the waistline, I came in by 1 inch. You can make it half inch to give it that v back, that loop v back, not the normal straight one. So this is how it looks like. So I'll go up at my chest line. I'll go in by 1 inch. So after going in by 1 inch, I'll go to my shoulder. I'll just connect that 1 inch to my shoulder. This is where I used to connect it. So I'll just connect it. This is how it looks like. Our back is ready. So I'm just going to cut out the excess. These are the excess. I'll cut it out. So I'll just cut out the excess, and the back and the front for this under bust corset is ready. So the next part is just for you to cut it on your fabric by adding allowance. This is how it looks like. You just cut it on your fabric, you add allowance to to the upper side of your under bust corset. So you just add allowance round this upper part. You're just going to add allowance round, then the down part you are going to add allowance. You just join it together by adding allowance round. Then before you join it, this down part where my hand is, you're going to put your boning. Yes, you have to put boning. It's the boning that will make it that under bust corset. So you just put your boning. You can use the original boning by sewing it on top, or use the normal plastic boning by using your bias to pass your boning through. So guys, this is the end of this tutorial. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, like and share, comment, tell your friends about my YouTube channel, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Yes, we are also on Facebook. So I'm just going to write, make a sign so I'll know that this is the side, because sometimes you might use the center back as the side. So I will indicate this is the up and this is the down. Always do that so you not turn your outfit upside down. So guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you in my next class. Bye.